So we'll start off with a little observation, something a little weird found. I was watching another podcast. There was a caller that called in asking for advice in their fornication endeavors, and they made this observation saying that they use these certain types of condoms. I've never heard of them before. You ever heard of the extra time condoms? You ever heard of that before?
Extra
Extra
time?
time.
Extra time condoms.
I never.
Apparently, it's supposed to give you more time. And I think it's weird because what the fuck are you feeling? You're not gonna feel shit
So
anyway.
wait, it's supposed to make you like last longer.
What is it like? Just like a numbing agent?
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, it's a numbing agent on the inside.
It's
I
like
was
I think they said the word they used was desensitivity. I don't know, desensitized.
No, don't do that to me. No.
I was laughing so fucking hard. I was like, "Well, what the fuck are you talking about?"
That's why. That's
You're
when
not
like
gonna feel
if
shit.
you're that down bad, just like think of a moment that you're not supposed to be thinking of while you're doing that, and you're like,
No,
it stalls you for a minute.
cracks me
weird.
up, man, because it's probably not even called extra time condoms. He just didn't know what the.
That's crazy.
you got a timer on it? The fuck?
Yeah, like what? Like, is it like Viagra where it's like, yo, if you can't feel that shit after 2 hours, call somebody.
Man, dude. So let's start off. Obviously, well, to end the first four, it starts with Will. Going fucking.
Yes.
Going fucking.
Ape shit. Finally having.
I'm trying to think of a good superhero that's like an analogy. Like, what the fuck did he? Like fucking.
It definitely feels kind of like a telepathic.
Mhm.
In a not D&D sense, like it definitely feels like he's got telepathy of some sort, or he's telekinetic almost. Like
Right.
to be able to tap into a hive mind like that,
He gets.
and then to find out that he's been doing that is insane to me.
The thing about it is he gets these powers from being able, obviously from tapping into the hive mind, but it all comes from Vecna. He's a part of Vecna,
Mhm.
right? Vecna's a part of him. So at that point, he's using Vecna's powers. Now, he can only use it within the hive. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Foreshadowing,
Yes,
I think all the other kids that Vecna took are going to be able to do the same thing.
I was just about to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, they had to get on some freaky shit for him to tap back into the powers, though.
Oh
You
my
know,
God,
I
yeah.
almost theorized that, but I was like, nah, like I don't really feel like that's like something that could happen, right? But like having them Frankenstein a Demogorgon back to life is insane to me. You're just gonna but like the other part is you're just gonna let these particles fly out of this Demogorgon, and then it's gonna be like when you did that with Will, and then that thing's just gonna be out there.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean,
Like
that was really the only scenario for real because it was a theory, and Lucas's theory was right. At
Mhm.
first, I was like, "Bro, you're tweaking." I was like,
I
"Yes,
mean, we literally just watched fucking Vecna just resurrect him so it can be done. You know what I mean?
yeah,
yeah.
His body is just fucking. It's legit. He just.
Yeah.
Dude.
But I mean, to start off, having the realization that Will can finally do these things and feel, and still at the same time have that empowered feeling, but then that self-doubt feeling of like, damn, this was my fault. Had I had acted sooner, had I figured out I could have done this sooner, like that's gotta weigh so heavy on a kid. Like it's in my mind, it's difficult to look at them as kids, even though that's what they're supposed to still be, because they look like grown ass fucking
Well, I mean,
adults
how
at
old
this
are
point.
they? How old are they supposed to be within the context of the show?
I think 11 is supposed to be like 15, 16 in this show,
No
right?
way.
Right
No.
now.
And there's no way. It can't be. Max has been in the coma for 2 years. They said that.
from the last season."
From the last
they're-
season, that means it's been 2 years from season 4 to season 5 in the show.
So they're
It's
at
been
least-
it's been like 6 years for us. But
they're at least 17.
17, yeah. Got to be.
Let's see.
Because Erica has got to be. She don't look. How old is Erica?
I think she's in high school.
Yeah, she would have to be like her freshman year. Her and Lucas ain't that far apart.
Okay, so it does say 11, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and Will are 17. While Max is also 7. Don't know why they didn't just say that. Yeah, so it says in season 5 they're all supposed to be 15 or 17. Excuse me.
Yep,
Makes sense.
it's about right.
Okay.
I like the full circleness of all of this, man. Because what Will went through, all these kids is going through, and they keep getting this goo getting dumped down their throat. You have to bleach your insides once you get free. No, I'm serious, bro. He just, you know how mad I would be to wake up to a tentacle on my face. You know, bro?
Yeah.
She was,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and
That's so
having
good.
having the first thing that Holly did, or like Holly do when she got free was like fucking puke. You know, she
then
got on all fours and
that
she was like,
fucking man,
mm-hmm.
Holly is a gangster though.
she
It's
is.
that weird word. All I'm gonna say this, like I told you, E. All the women in that family are G. Mike,
Yeah,
what
they
the
are.
fuck you be doing for real, bro?
Man,
You
he
should be,
nothing, bro.
you should be bigging your friends up. Cool, the motivation. You gotta be doing shit, bro. And then the pop, he definitely ain't on shit.
Hey,
We ain't seen him this whole season.
After he
We didn't even see him in the last episode. You're telling me Karen's the only one who's like,
no,
but
his
like
biggest,
I felt like she got more fucked up
Yeah, he
than
did,
than
He's a
he
sorcerer.
did.
He's a
She
sorcerer.
did,
You're a
but she
sorcerer.
gangster. She blew up 4 of them. She said
Yeah,
something weird going on. I hear that motherfucker. Fuck that. I'm blowing him up.
let me tell you
No.
something.
Hey, though,
Weird.
let me say, Jalen. I know we literally. I think you're the one that talked about this the most. When I told you Eric Eddie's character, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait, why did
No, I
Steve?
said-
Why did Steve just call out everything that Jalen said, but in the meanest
Oh
way?
yeah, I
Alright,
definitely
alright,
did.
alright.
He was mean. That was mean what he said to Dustin, but it was true.
You cannot
That
say
shit,
that. You
that
cannot
shit
say
was.
that.
hard. He said,
No,
if he was so smart, why isn't he here?
That
and I
was
said,
because the way he said that, I was like, ooh, that was mean. That was mean.
But
That
he
was
followed up with it, and that was honestly the realest shit he could have told Dustin, because he was like, "Bro,
You tripping?
to be honest, he went in there and his actions didn't save a single person. He went in there trying to be a superhero, and he didn't have to be. Now he's not
Okay.
here.
devil's advocate here. Do I agree with Steve's statement to an extent? Yes, I really do, because at a certain point, you know, he could have gone home, right? He was there with Dustin. All he had to do was climb the rope. But at one point, you see the demo bats trying to go back to the house after Eddie had already created that distraction. And if Eddie would not have gone to try and fight the rest of them, as dumb as that decision is, they would have gone back to the house and they more than likely would have killed the 3, Robin, Nancy, and Steve. That is like, but that is such a difficult argument to make, even for me, because that's like the only thing. But who's to say, even after they blasted Vecna with Molotovs and shotgun shells, that those bats still wouldn't have come back and ate him up?
You just said the main thing that Steve was saying. You said he would have saved Steve. Steve still got out. And he even said he didn't have to do that.
He didn't.
He didn't.
And this is where it's such a contradicting thing for me personally as a fan of Eddie, because it felt like he could have done something different to distract him, right?
Look, listen, man, I fuck with Eddie. But he did some dumb shit, bro. He didn't have to do all
He
that.
did. He
So,
did.
Okay, hear me out. And this is what Eric was even alluding to the conversation we had. The general public does not know about Vecna. Okay, you see when the season picks back up, that they still think Hellfire is responsible for everything. So even if
Yes.
they win that, Eddie's still a fugitive. He's
Exactly.
still
And that's
so like in
that's-
his head, he knows all of this. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
call it suicide, but I don't think he wanted to make it from the mission. He said it himself. He was sick of running, bro. You see
Yep.
what I'm saying? Even though his actions actually served no purpose to the grand story, what that was going on in that finale.
okay,
that's
but
what
see,
he wanted to do, bro.
here's where I feel a little bit different about that, because where you're correct is, you know, I feel like Eddie would have rather died in the Upside Down than had to go back and deal with like all the bullshit of him getting blamed for the murders, of him being, like, yeah, right. And I don't, as an innocent person, you don't want to do that. He was still a kid, and
I feel you, but at the same time, it's like there's other ways to go about it. He could have been on some. He could have kept being a fugitive.
That's what I would have did.
Yeah,
but again,
homie.
he always had that feeling of like I'm always running. To Jalen's point, he's like, I'm always running, I'm always hiding, I'm always doing these things. And after a while, that's going to get old. That's going to weigh on you so much. So he felt like he was serving a purpose. And from a D&D standpoint, right? Like that is what your character's supposed to do. In D&D, not everybody makes it home. And that is something that I think he knew. And even if you get to go home, your life will never be the same.
No disrespect, but wasn't he still a 20-year-old in high school?
He did say he failed a couple.
He got
times.
held back. Hey man, that year was his year, no doubt. But
And I will
But
say,
no,
man, he
I
could have
think
just came out and went with Hopper. Hopper would have took care of him.
Yeah, man, he would have been straight.
Hopper would have got him.
And
But again, though, this is theory, so we don't know for sure. But like,
correct. But I do think the one thing that he made, like, because that was the other thing. I think he more or less stopped them from he more so stopped the demo bats from coming into the real world and fucking everything up through his trailer gate than he really did stopping everything happening in the Upside Down.
No, I guess if you want to say that was his grand purpose, but I personally just don't believe that the bats would have left. We've never seen them go to the other side. Only the dogs
That's true.
and
that's true.
so
So I
there
guess
might
that way it
just
could be 50-50.
And now knowing what we know that the Upside Down itself is not controlled by Vecna.
That was such
You're
a
just-
mind blowing thing for me.
You see what I'm saying? So that
I
it
was
just adds
jaw
at that
dropped. I was like,
it kind of makes it worse.
this is a
Kind of
fucking.
makes it worse.
I was like, this is a fucking wormhole. I was like,
Yeah, bro. When they zoomed out and
That
you
was
see,
such
man,
a-
R.I.P. Steve's Beamer. But when you see the Beamer just floating out into nothingness, it really puts into perspective. You're like,
we were.
well, shit.
Well, we were watching the episodes last night. This man Zay goes, "Damn it, Nancy! Always wanting to shoot some shit."
Do some shit, bro. What are we
Literally.
doing?
And Jonathan even said, "Are you sure about this?" And she goes, "No." But like what? Why would you do
I'm
that?
sorry, can anybody else agree with me? I don't care. Jonathan heard Dustin because I heard
He
him.
did. He did.
I understood what Dustin. I understood Dustin through
And
the
literally
radio.
at
I'm
one
like,
point-
he said it. He got it. You heard
At
him.
one
He
point-
said,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
touch
I looked
anything.
At one point, I looked at Meg and I was like, "Does no one understand static? Can someone speak static? Like, what's the problem? Can no one piece that shit together?"
Don't
And I'm
touch
like-
anything.
He's like, "Ah."
I was like, I think he said, don't touch anything.
That's literally what he's like. Justin, I digress. I want to touch on the Jonathan and Nancy scene here at some point because it'll kind of go into.
Jonathan was pissing me off. I'm sitting there. I was like, Jonathan, you're just jealous. Shut up. Be honest with yourself.
Damn, bro.
You're just
And,
jealous.
You know,
Be
now
honest.
you in some goop asking her,
Some fucking
can you
I
accept
was
my
disgusted with that whole building. I'm sitting there like, what is going on? Is this wax?
Yeah.
What is this?
It was
Yeah, no, we can get into that.
So-
I will say that scene, I was sitting there, I'm like, this is a really long scene for them to not die.
So, and that's the thing, and this is where a lot of my disappointment in these 3 episodes came from. Is
I do have a gripe.
you set these characters up to have such an emotional and pivotal moment in their character development as such, but then you don't do anything that makes it mean anything. All of a sudden the goop hardens and they're like, huh, we're cool.
Well, no, that one.
What really, in my opinion, should have
I don't know.
happened.
I don't know.
I
if they're
personally,
cool.
I mean, I think they're cool. They're broken up, but like, I
Yeah,
think
they're
they're
broken
like,
It was. They thought they were gonna die.
yeah,
in
but it's not like
confession, and they-
I'm leaving you.
Yeah, no, because the only reason why they was staying together is because they do care for each other, but they knew it wasn't worth it. It's a breakup.
But
They're fine.
but when it comes to like storytelling and giving characters a moment like that, it almost felt like, because at one point Nancy was like, "We got to sit down, we got to shift our weight." It felt like Jonathan was going to throw himself into the goop and be like, "I'm going to buy Nancy more time to survive." In my opinion, that would have added so much more depth and gravity to the situation, instead of having them be like, have the scene play out. Please do the unproposal. Have Jonathan be like, we're just not working out. And Nancy says the same thing. And he's like, but I still want you to survive. And maybe he hops off the table. The table floats back up a little bit. There's a little less weight on it. He's giving Nancy a chance to survive. And it wouldn't have felt so like such like a waste of a good moment for me. Like,
They were, yeah, I don't think it was either. They were, the thing is, they were scared to have that conversation. They wasn't gonna break up unless that shit happened.
but
It kept
it
being
felt
miserable
so
when he fell.
anticlimactic, because it was like, you're clearly like, they start playing the sappy music. Like you're physically bracing yourself for one of these, if not both of these characters to die. And if anything, I think it should have been Jonathan. I think Jonathan should have made that sacrifice. And then they find out that either the goop hardens and it was, oh, bummer, Jonathan really didn't have to do that, but he did it. Or
I
yeah,
have a
pause,
question.
pause.
Now, I have a question though. Did any of us really expect the goop to solidify like that?
No, which is why I'm like,
Doesn't that make it
Then
good
what's
writing
wrong?
right there? The unexpected.
Exactly.
hardening goop, pause. Not really. Like to me, it felt like it was a waste of what could have been a noble sacrifice, and added depth and stakes into this episode.
I know
These
what
three
you-
episodes, that
I felt like it was really
the
long.
fact
scene.
that-
that was my gripe with it. I felt like, I
Yes.
was like they could have definitely shortened this, but I'm like, but still.
Oh yeah, for sure. But listen, what you want? Is you want my boy to be Ronnie. Everybody can't be Ronnie, bro. Chill out. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You wanted him to sacrifice like this was Welcome to Derry, bro. It's just like Richie. My bad. That's
oh,
that's wrong.
Richie. I was like,
You
who's
wanted,
Ronnie?
you wanted to be Richie. He can't be Richie. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Look, I will agree. Not everybody can be Richie, but when
So-
you put these characters into a situation where one of them
For me-
could have done that,
for me, I was sick of their storyline. Nancy's story is bigger than both their dumbass. If I'm being honest, I'm sick of it. For real, it is.
yeah,
Okay?
it is. It is.
Like I'm over it. She needed to be away from them. Like that's it. That's all. That's all I was praying for. So for me, even though that I was more upset that they finally having this conversation, they was about to die. So I feel like I have the opposite effect. The goop really saved me because this is what needed to happen. This is in my head, and I just binged it. So like I'm sick of that shit. I'm over it. I don't care.
Dude, I was watching, and then they were like obviously arguing. They were in the upside down and all that. He pulls out the damn fucking Colt was it
John Coltrane?
The John Coltrane thing. I'm like, yeah, what a great time to propose to somebody. What a great
That's what I'm
environment.
See, and I
was
think that
you
would have.
dumbass. Like, put that shit away. Put that shit
They
away.
pulled out that was the sweetest breakup ever.
This was moments before that when they were still
Oh,
arguing
yeah,
back and
no,
forth.
yeah.
But I'm sitting there, I was like, Jonathan,
Yeah, no,
I was like,
bro.
let's talk about bigger picture here, man.
Like,
We
come
need to
on, bro.
save the world.
Her
You're
mom
in
is
this-
in the hospital. Her dad is in the hospital. Her sister is missing, and
It's
you
in a
trying to
whole
propose.
different dimension.
Chill out.
See, and this is where, but again, this is where I think a sacrifice from Jonathan would have meant so much more, and it would have added to the depth and the gravity of the show. The fact that nobody in these 3 episodes died.
I think it
Really-
sets up for that last
really
episode,
just-
though.
I mean, it does, but like to an extent, like you're plot armoring all of these characters to the point where I don't really feel like anything is in danger until the last episode. You spend all this time talking about it, but nothing is visibly being shown to tell me or to add gravity and depth into the 3 episodes, the series. Like the thing that had the biggest like jaw-dropping moment for me out of all of these 3 episodes is Dustin finding out he was wrong, and then Nancy shoots that shit, and you're like, "Oh fuck!" And
I
then,
have a bigger one, I think,
the vacuum, and it starts sucking everything in, but then Elle just chooses to aura farm in that moment and hit him with.
I told Zay this. I was like, if I was in that moment, I was like, Flex, I don't care. Get me out of here. Get me
No, and that's fine, but it felt so much like they were like, all right, give me a model face, give me, keep moving, give me a good face, keep moving. Like it doesn't,
Okay.
it just,
Okay.
it felt
I mean, she's been doing that.
lazy.
This is what you got to understand. Number one, all of them are superstars now, so that's bound to happen, right? Secondly, I feel like there's a reason they dropped them this way, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people were probably going to feel how you feel, and it's the same reason why that scene was probably super long. Like they shot it, they want to get what they paid for, they want to put it out. That's why they put that big reveal amongst this moment that really was kind of dragging. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But more is coming. So there's like this is they getting their money's worth. The finale is really what's going on. So I get where you're coming from, but it was fun to watch. It was they wrapping up the storylines. We had to get Max up out the thing. That's all it was.
Yes.
There's nothing really crazy.
I'm-
After watching Vecna fucking wreck all of them at the, you know what I mean, the
With
end of the
military
first
base.
part.
Yeah, the military.
Yeah.
base. Yeah. That
So
was
that type of energy, I was expecting it to continue, but it's just more storytelling. I get it. They explaining shit they should have really been explained, if I'm being honest. Like
Mhm.
the last two episodes of the season or the show is when you actually started explaining us because at the moment they made the big reveal, it clicked to me. What should have been clicked. You see what I'm saying? Oh,
Yes.
y'all out here now. Y'all realize y'all playing in a damn foreign dimension. Now Dustin's worried about the science of it. Y'all be
Yep.
going back and forth into this upside down like it's not a freaking unstable portal rift in the dimension. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That
And
like
that-
I
I
was
mean,
like,
that
oh,
was crazy because that's not a wall. I was like, oh, that's the outs. I was like, oh.
it's a black hole. That's why as soon as it's a late explainer, but it's such a good explainer. I accepted it. I was like, okay.
To me, I was like, I kind of understand like the filler part. I was saying, I think to me, I feel like a lot is still revealed.
Yeah, they're giving
to,
you a lot of information
to
still.
still, I think to be
Correct.
called a filler. Like, dude, I'm sorry. The whole thing with they passing Henry's blood down with all those pregnant women, that was the biggest
Oh,
that was the biggest jaw dropping
dude.
thing to me. I'm like Sarah Connor. Oh Lord,
Yeah. What are you doing?
what are you doing, Linda Hamilton? Stop it. Like,
Yeah. Well, and
oh,
to be clear, when I say that, when I say that these felt like filler episodes isn't like an insult, right? It's not like these were just fillers, whatever. Fillers are important, don't get me wrong, but when you're building up to something like this, like no one's gonna say Infinity War or Endgame were filler movies. No one's gonna say Infinity War was a filler movie to Endgame because there was something constantly happening. The stakes were there. You knew that it was very possible for Thanos to win, and obviously, as comic nerds, we knew he was going to. And so that's what kept you on the edge of your seat. In no way, shape, or form do I feel like Vecna is going to win this. And for that, to me, that's important to feel. I want to feel like all of these kids and these adults have an opportunity to lose. And the fact that they have not lost anything other than Eddie felt like a waste of good storytelling. You know what I mean? Not everybody makes it home. Not everybody makes it to the last mission. Not everybody makes it to the boss fight. These are things that you have to come to terms with, or else it's like, we're just going to give you plot armor. We're just going to give you plot armor. Like, for example,
We lost
Robin.
some people, man.
Huh?
We lost some people, bro. They wasn't like important people, but we lost some people, bro.
Who did we lose?
Vecna was bidding and snapping everybody. What do you mean? You had that. You had hold on. You had Mike's mom's old boyfriend from season
He did
2.
that.
Rudy.
Them boys got hit. You know what I mean? It was.
You
But
also
that's
had
my
old
thing.
girl
These
from the
are
first
these are
season.
like side characters. These are NPCs that we don't give a fuck about. I want to lose somebody I give a fuck about. Like when
That's
Steve
so-
inevitably
that's-
dies in this last episode, it's going to rip my heart out. But I will understand that for the sake of good storytelling, it has to happen.
So
Like,
I get what you're saying. I just think what you're really feeling is more so how they chopped up the episodes. It's because the story is still good. You just don't like what is called an episode. What we got here, what we got here. And I
I
think,
mean,
hold on, if they trying to stretch it, it's fine because you got to think these are 3 episodes leading to a 2 hour finale. You see what I'm saying? So we still got that's 2 episodes realistically. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it can still happen. People gonna die, right? You already expected Steve to die, so shit.
For sure, bro. You don't look at Dustin and say, "You die, I die," unless y'all are planning on dying, bro. Like, as sad as it would be to lose one of the kids, like fucking A, bro. If you kill Dustin, bro, like I don't even want to think about it. But it would add so much gravity to the situation. You're actively losing people, like members of your party. So now the stakes get higher. The threat gets larger.
I ain't gonna lie. I could see Dustin and Steve dying because think about it, Dustin's story, bro. He don't want to see nobody else die.
That was such a crazy moment. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "Oh,
that was one of the best parts of the entire like trilogy of episodes that dropped. That moment between Dustin and Steve, that just pure raw emotion of like, please don't go because I cannot lose anyone again. Like,
and then the part that really got
hurt.
me is literally seconds later. You see you see the ladder fall.
The ladder just.
You're like, oh shit! That was a cool moment. That was cool.
I'm saying all that to say about Dustin, like he gonna sacrifice himself for the greater good. He ain't gonna see nobody else out of the gang die.
Oh, he's been crashing out all year, the whole season too.
Yeah,
he got jumped at the cemetery and shit, bro. Like his face still fucked up.
Yeah,
it, bro.
Well, and so one of my other examples is, I feel like in the laundry scene, right before Karen saves everybody, I feel like that would have been a good moment for either, unfortunately, Robin or her little girlfriend to die, right? They know the importance of keeping the music on for Max. They know the importance of having Max come back for and to Lucas. Everybody gets that. There has not been a single episode where no one thinks about that. When Robin is telling Lucas, like, we've got to shut the music off. We need to shut it off. We're going to die if we don't. Having Robin and her little girlfriend, Vicky, running around trying to create a distraction and inevitably dying and then being saved by Karen or giving Lucas and Max enough time to escape up out of there would have been like, damn it, like we lost some good people, but they're out of there.
You couldn't do that because they didn't want them. They ran right past them earlier in the scene. They was only running with them because they're friends. It's literally chasing Max.
And I know, and that's what like, but I feel like they were in the same room, so maybe a distraction could, like if these demo dogs got distracted by metal clanking and a dryer, I feel like you could have gone out and been like,
that's different, okay? Because they're still animals at the end of the day. Like, you know how easy it is to distract a dog or a cat. Like, that's
the same argument could be made for people then.
But they know what their mission is. They're ignoring all other people. They ran past hundreds of people in the hospital.
That's true. That is very true. But I feel like they could have, if Jonathan can rip off a steel fucking pipe with his bare hands, I feel like Robin and Vicky should have been able to find something around them try to fight the demo dogs, try to give Lucas and Max that time to get out while still playing the music.
Robin is. I'm not doing that. You saw what happened to your mama, Mrs. Wheeler. You saw what happened to Miss Wheeler. She tried to fight that thing and almost got smoked. It's not worth doing.
But I think it's not like rage baiting, but like how do I? It's the same way that they did Jonathan and Nancy. They set up the scene to make it look like we're about to lose them. And when Robin turns over and she has that face of despair on her, that look of despair on her face because they know they're about to get fucking ate up, it felt like, okay, Robin's going to make a sacrifice play here. You know what I mean?
Why do you want everybody to sacrifice? What is that?
Because no one other than Eddie has died. There is no weight to this show without a sacrifice.
If they're gonna die,
what you on, man? Huh? Why you want to see everybody die?
Okay,
bro?
so if you're
got a whole
on a real
note to go.
Exactly.
Correct, but it goes back to my statement of not everybody makes it to the end.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
if they
just get to
die-
go to the end.
man. People could die in the very
without-
beginning.
But no, I'm saying if they
Right,
do
but
die, I
then-
want it to be natural. It don't have to be a sacrifice. Like, oh, this I don't make it past here. That's such a cliche.
But that's what adds.
movie
It
thing.
might be a cliche, but that's what adds. Like I keep saying, the depth and the gravity to these shows, to these episodes, because you're like, no one is safe. But this entire season and this entire series, other than Eddie, everybody is given plot armor. Like, for example, in season 4, when Robin, Nancy, and Steve are up in that house getting choked up by these tentacles and shit like that, you could have killed any one of them right there, realistically speaking, right? Vecna could have killed every one of those guys right there, right then, and it would have been like, oh, fuck, we just lost 3 major characters. It's no different than when you're going through Game of Thrones and you see you develop attachments to these characters, and then seasons go down, and then they're getting their fucking heads chopped off. They're getting burnt by a dragon, and like that's where it really
Well,
hits you with.
It's
That's
Game of
not-
Thrones,
right.
man.
That's
Look,
a big,
Look,
big-
Different.
it is different, but I'm saying it still adds to the story. Giving characters constant plot armor is not good writing to me. It's not good storytelling to me. And this is where,
Netflix.
again, right, they're going to get their money's worth, and I'm well
That's what
aware.
they're doing.
But again, when it comes down to it, Zay's asking me, what do I always want to see everybody die, man? So, this whole thing has been based off and formatted around a D&D campaign. As a D&D nerd myself, I just wrapped up a campaign with my DM, and my character died right before the big battle because I knew that a sacrifice had to have been made to get the other party members where they need to be. Everyone
So-
knows the importance of Max coming back. So if Robin or Vicky would have been like, we'll try to hold him off, or we'll try to push him back or something so that you guys can get out, you guys can escape, that would have added so much more to the story other than
So
we're just going to hide here and pull a Jurassic Park and hope for the
this
best.
is- I mean, that's just a
I
horror
did-
trope. I'm gonna be honest.
I did
but
point that out. I was like, this is a Velociraptor scene.
it's a
Literally.
horror trope. They do that. But okay, so let
They
me
have
ask
been
you
doing
this then.
yeah.
Because my like I said, I wouldn't want nobody to just be sacrificed, and so you would have to die in a way that makes sense. So what you're saying is Max should have died then. She should have died. Vecna should have killed her. That should have been it.
Very well, like in season 4? Yes,
That's
100%.
the way you do that, because you just can't sacrifice anybody. It has to be that if you want to make Vecna a real threat, she should have been dead.
Yes, and this is what makes me feel like Vecna's not a threat. I don't feel like Vecna's going to win. I want that. Like, we were here watching Welcome to Derry thinking, in our first episode, we're like, yeah, Pennywise is winning. Why the fuck would he lose? I don't feel like that in this. I'm like, yeah, the kids are going to go in. We're going to lose a couple people after they've been plot armored for 5 whole seasons. And then that'll be it. It's underwhelming to me is what it is.
I see what
that's-
you're saying, because I feel like we haven't gotten.
I feel like because you waited in between all of it, it hits different. So
Mhm.
with me binging it and watching all the episodes back to back to back, I don't really feel like that. Like for me, I
Mhm.
just lost my boy Eddie 2 weeks ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? That
Well,
shit.
and I just binged it as well. Meg and I had binged it up until the point where they released the first few episodes. And so to that extent, to your point, I did feel like that after a certain point because I'm like, I can't lose anybody else. My boy Eddie just went, please. But now, and you could be right. It could be the spacing of it. But, I can already hear it, but I had already formulated my opinion. And then, because I had looked at Meg and I told her how I felt immediately after all of these episodes showed. And then you go on socials, and I'm not even looking for it, but you go on socials, and season 5 is currently the lowest rated season out of all of them. Now, again, whether it's the pacing, whether it's how they're releasing these episodes, but they made good points. The acting feels a little rushed, It feels like they had to kind of hurry up and scurry to get all this shit done and out. And a lot of it was also due to the writer's strike. We didn't get it any earlier because of the writer's strike. But, the last season of any show should almost be the fucking best, right? It should almost compare to the first because of how you choose to wrap things up. This feels like it could be like a Game of Thrones thing to me, where it's really amped up, it's really hyped up, and then the ending is just like, eh. I don't
Might
want
be.
that. I don't
Might
want
be.
that.
Might be. I would say, as far as you feeling like if it's filler, I think there's a lot of. If this was any other show, there would have been a lot of scenes left on the cutting block. Like these could have very
Mhm.
easily been reduced down to 2 episodes. You could have completely got rid of a whole bunch of this. If you just
Mhm.
need to tell us what's going on with
Yeah,
Vecna.
dude. Like my gripe is that scene with Max and Holly. That was unbearably long.
Yeah, y'all just
Like
going back.
Well, like,
Max-
okay, like which
Literally
one
just-
specific? Like
When
which
they-
one?
when they're
Oh, the
about
one
to
where they're in
wake
the
up.
very end.
Like Max was
Run,
yapping.
bitch,
She-
run!
I'm sitting there, I'm like, do the 40-yard dash, do the dash on him. And like,
Right,
next thing you know, I'm sitting there
exactly.
like 6 minutes goes by, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, come on, like, let's go, like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and
Like,
that's it.
Like
That
wrap
is such
this
a
up.
poor time to choose to develop a character in that moment. You're like, tell Holly all this shit when you're back.
Like, we
Mike
get
already
it.
gave Holly this pep talk. There's no reason you got to do it again.
Like, we get it,
Right.
Sadie, we get it. You're in Spider-Man.
No, I do think out loud I did say wrap this up twice. So
Yeah.
that scene
Yeah.
with Jonathan and
Those
And-
two scenes right there are my
yeah,
my
and
would
then
say
like
my
you said with
gripes
Max
with the show.
and it definitely was. I'm like, okay,
Same.
Yeah.
they did the slow walk to the portal, which pissed me off. You know what I mean? You've been trapped
And
for
then
2
all of a sudden
years.
they-
Run.
Right, and and that's one of the things where it's, it, like, Vecna clearly has access to that area. We've seen him go to that area before. But I mean, like, and that's one of the things where, like, they could have cut those scenes out and added something completely different somewhere else, where it would have been like, like an oh shit we have to go moment, or more in depth of Dustin explaining what that fucking orb is, other than
Yeah.
it's exotic matter.
But he
Expand
doesn't know
on that.
He doesn't know though. That's the thing.
But they have the entire notebook from Brenner.
That he
Yeah,
They got the
but that's
whole
not-
notebook.
But they just
But you're not
got
going to
it.
be able to, and you're not going to be able to intellectualize that. They're 17
Steve literally looked at it.
literal rocket science.
That man Steve was.
Oh, right,
he was-
correct.
He was sitting there like. just looking down at that, like,
But
and it's
I do-
like it's.
Like the idea of that though, like I said, because it really locks in the seriousness of the situation. Like we've been playing because of, like you said, the plot armors, they've been able to just run in and out of the upside down with no
Yep.
repercussions. And it really is a rip in space. It's a black hole.
Yeah.
Like-
Like literally a fucking wormhole. And you kind of knew that was how it was going to go, because if you, like Jalen, he's fresh off these other seasons. Shout out Mr. Clark, bro. That teacher is
Yeah.
like the
That
dude,
savior
that
of
was-
fucking Hawkins at the end of the day,
When
bro.
he fucking,
And-
he was at the librarian.
With
Because
yeah, does she shush you if you get too loud in the sack?
I literally said, shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Because
Murray is
if it
hilarious.
wasn't for Mr. Clark in these other seasons, having these lessons for physics and stuff like that for these kids to learn and base their like theories or their heroics off of, who knows what could have happened. But for him, it almost seemed underwhelming, because he was like, we're going in there. It's like, I would be tweaking. I
Yeah.
would be losing my shit. I would be like, I just saw someone use the fucking force. As a nerd myself,
Yeah.
knowing he's a nerd too, I'd have been like, what?
He did just-
It's a little bit calmer when you're going in with a big group of people. It's
Fair.
not like you going in there by
That's
himself, 2 or 3 people. You going
like
there
I'm tripping. I ain't seen this for real. Like a lot of people with him, so it's like they can all comfort you in that.
yeah.
That's true.
And
That's
and
true.
he know, like those is people too. So it's like it ain't like they strangers. He literally know all of them individually.
Exactly. And they
But
try
I
to
do love.
help the student, bro. Like, he like, shit, I want to know where Dustin at too. My boy. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
I will like I do like this.
bro.
Yeah. Well, and that was like he was so quick. Once Erica was like, Dustin is in danger. He was all right. Let's go. You know, like didn't question it. Didn't try to call 12 or nothing. Like he was just with Murray and Erica, and that was it. But like honestly, without him, setting. Because like to my point earlier, like if you were to go back and rewatch all these other seasons, everything that he teaches at least once in his class, we get a scene of, and that ends up being how the entire fucking season goes. He was talking about that wormhole in the first 4 episodes, and you're like, oh shit, like okay, like I could see that. But and to go back to Jalen's point, I get how I'm making this sound like I want somebody to sacrifice themselves, but I do agree with you in the sense of
You made it pretty clear.
I would rather it happen naturally. I would rather it happen in the sense of like, shit just happens. Wrong place, wrong time. And let me correct myself because we also lost Bob in season 3. That hurt my heart. We lost Bob, man.
I think someone brought that up. I think Zay said that. Yeah.
But
I just said that earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have not heard that part.
He said
I do
boyfriend,
generally agree with the idea that the stakes do need to feel higher, like because even Hopper, his death was rolled back. You know what I mean? No one has.
He's asking to sacrifice himself. The plot
He's
armor is
like, please kill me.
The plot armor's like, no.
No.
If he's not the one that blows himself up to split, the worlds from colliding. I don't know. Like you're setting him up for that. You're setting the audience up for that because as soon as they were like, we'll need a bomb, it zooms in on his grumpy ass just going yes, Hopper, you can blow yourself up now. Like what?
Damn, he pulled a Richie, bro.
But like 11.
Not
11
everybody
though,
can be a Richie.
I feel like her sister's getting to her though, so maybe she wants to,
That's another thing. Another thing. I feel like all character development, or no, maybe not character development. Anything interesting about Kali has been halted. She has done nothing other than be like, they're making babies. But I feel like we kind of already knew that. It just like,
that
granted, now, yes, the military is going to be like, they are just going to recycle it. But I tell you what, Kali is trying to take Vecna's place. She's not trying to kill Elle. She's not trying to kill herself. She's trying to take Vecna's place, and I'm calling it right now.
I am looking at her a little weird because I'm like,
if Hopper's questioning you, I'm questioning you.
Hopper, yeah, he's but
Hopper first off, he gets on my nerves. I'm gonna be honest. Your daughter's a superhero, and you trying to protect her. What are we talking about? You cannot protect her. She has killed things you ain't even close to being able to fight. Okay? Stop it. Stop all of this macho man shit and get behind your superpowered daughter. You're making me, I'm sick of it, bro. The whole banter.
The first couple episodes that I did see kind of pissed me off because that's all he was doing.
Oh my gosh. He did kill a Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Man, she's
no.
throwing shit around, bro. I'm not trying to.
No. Let me get this out, man. Put some respect on Hop's name. All right?
Bro, I get it, bro. But when she can literally just grab shit like this and fucking throw it around, bro, nah.
No.
Put some respect on his name.
And she gonna sit there, no, and he gonna sit there and say that she acting like a punk ass motherfucker. I'm strong as shit. Fuck you.
No. He was locked up in a Russian prison and he got out, bro, and killed a Demogorgon in a process.
And got thrown around like a rag doll by accident.
I don't give a fuck. He got out.
I'm not saying
he's a sheriff. That's the most gangster sheriff.
No, listen. I'm not saying he's not a gangster, bro. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying, why he always making it seem like he should be the first, no.
Because be a sheriff, bro. He thinks I gotta protect all these people. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. So I'm always putting myself in the line of fire before letting somebody else do it before me. That's a toxic trait that he has.
It is.
Well, and as a parent, like
Yeah.
you know, that's just going to be your first instinct. Like, in no world are you going to be like, you know what, kid, you go first. You know, like, no. When it came to that scene where the wormhole does open and a vacuum is sucking like tombstones in, and I'm like, so tombstones are getting ripped out the ground, but y'all ain't going. Like, y'all would be the first to go. If the car went, y'all are going.
No. If one of them would have died right there, that would have did it. What you're asking for, not necessarily a sacrifice, but you see y'all not playing around, and with
Yes.
little boy shit, I could accept that.
You're getting there, Jason. You're getting there.
No, I do hear what you're saying.
You know, and I don't want anybody to die. I don't want that because, like I said, when Steve inevitably dies, when he makes this like sacrifice, or if Jonathan makes this sacrifice, so that Nancy and Steve, or so Nancy and Jonathan.
You need to check your expectations. See,
Yeah,
this is why you're
that's
getting let down, bro.
That's fair too.
You're
Right,
walking
but-
into this shit with expectations. Stop it. We don't know
Because this shit happens.
we don't know what's gonna happen, bro. We don't. Have we seen the finale of this show before? No, we haven't.
No, but we know the Avengers are about to get their asses whooped in Doomsday. Why can't I go into the same?
We don't fucking
There's
know.
no comic for Stranger
It's
Things.
Doom-
We don't know.
There's a
know,
comic
I
to
know,
go based
but
off of for Doomsday. and
Plot
Secret
armor
Wars.
can ruin so
Plot
much.
armor these nuts,
it can
bro.
ruin so
Plot
much.
armor these nuts, Los.
No,
We don't
No.
know.
there he
We
goes,
don't
talk about his
know.
nuts again.
This man said no.
You're damn right I'm talking about them because we don't know. We don't know. But I tell you what, I do know about these nuts. Now, we don't know. Okay? We just gotta wait, man. We don't
Ain't
know.
know about nuts is crazy.
I'm not ready to call it filler, but it did feel like it was filler. You hear me? It's not the same
Well, and
thing.
again,
Look,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
was
when
it-
you.
I will say I agree with the filler aspect. I had to think about it. I agree with it because like there's episodes in Naruto that's filler, right?
Yeah.
But they be key to the main story, right?
Yeah.
Now, the only reason why I say it's not filler is because some of the information that we found out is
Yeah.
real, like
And
it shit
That's
that
what I was gonna ask.
real. Like you got a whole nother dimension that this nigga in. The kids
Mhm.
ain't on the same plane. The upside down isn't the upside down. It's some whole
Yeah.
other.
literally just the
Yeah.
hallway.
You know what I mean? And now,
Damn, literally.
and now it's like, how the fuck do we even get up? Now we gotta go up. We've been going upside down. Now we gotta go up, just upside.
Yep.
How do we
Downside
do that?
up.
Yep, we
You
just
know,
came
like,
up
it-
from the ground. Now we got to go to the sky.
So
Well, see, and
what's-
that's why
what's-
I clarified. You know, just because it's a filler episode doesn't mean I'm saying these episodes are bad or poor. I'm just saying they're filler episodes. You know what I mean? But I understand that for certain stories you have to have them, or else you're just like either someone's going to complain that it's moving too fast, someone's going to complain that it doesn't have enough story and it's all action, or it can just be a filler episode. You know?
So,
This is giving a lot of story because you got to think about this
Mhm.
in comparison to last season, right? Last season, action, hella action,
Lord, I
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
This-
actually love that.
That was a climactic season. Now we're in the calm, building up to the finale, which is probably going to be crazy. We don't know how crazy. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're probably going to see some shit. The fact they're putting it out in theaters, so
Mhm.
that
Okay,
tells
so
that tells enough. But season 4, bro, we see. Come on, man.
the
We
questions I got
got snapped
is-
up, bro.
is the youngest Wheeler. What's her name?
Holly.
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 Holly. What's the point of following all of this? It makes it seem like these last 3 episodes was really all about Max and her. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Because Max got out. I mean, minus the big points that we got, because they're huge points. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
that would have been the third episode though. Yeah, episode 7.
But they
Yep.
still, all of the stuff in between those big points is just like, it's dragging. She did all of this to get out of the portal and immediately got right back. So we just wasted all of this time. You see what I'm saying? It literally, you know what I mean? She fell up through the little portal and Vecna snatched the little ass right back up.
but
See, and that's
that chain of events, though, you got to appreciate what happened, though, because I thought about it. when she fell, that confirmed some shit from Dustin's theory already from the research they found.
Yep.
The fact that they saw her falling, they couldn't catch her. They just seen her get pulled back, and they knew that was fucking Vecna. Right? That confirmed Dustin's theory. Vecna is at the abyss. We haven't seen it. We don't know what it looks like, but that's where Holly is at. That's probably where all the other kids are at. That's probably where Vecna is. We go
I
there.
just feel like
You know what I mean? I don't know how to get there, though.
they faced with a lot of problems that once you get to a certain level, because now Stranger Things is fucking huge. And okay, don't shoot the messenger. And I don't, I'm gonna just say it, right? Like I said, I just binged all of these, right? And Stranger Things is good. Don't get me wrong. But after watching all these episodes, I don't know where it got good enough to inspire this type of fandom. Do you hear what I'm saying? I watched all of them back to back, just straight through.
Huge.
From
So I
1
don't-
to 3, I think that's where it came into like. I was going through my Snapchat memories. I've got references from Stranger Things going back to 2016. You know what I mean? Like,
When it
So,
first came out, it was like one of the only Netflix shows too.
yes,
Yeah.
It was
That's
like the
wild.
first, like one of the first, and then the very first thing it used for marketing was a show where Winona Ryder is the main character. That's
Yeah.
they were
because
using
Winona
Ryder-
hadn't been seen in years at that point.
right, and she was, you know, like with fucking Beetlejuice and shit like that. Like she was huge.
Yep.
So
And then-
like that's
then
what
you
got
went-
excited.
the fucking Lego deal. And they started
Yeah.
doing books and shit. And then they did the Nike collab. And it just got bigger and bigger, bro. They
Now-
tapped
It was a
the
show
culture.
for all ages type shit. You know.
And now,
It really
with the
was.
hype being as big as they are, we still got the good points, but now they're over explaining shit. Even though some questions just freshly got answered, but like you said, why is she giving her the speech again when Mike already did that? You know what I mean? Why are we like even when she first popped up, she literally recapped everything that had happened to her. Those whole episodes was literally about that.
Everything.
We know that. We know that happened. We didn't need all of that. That's for people who just now bandwagon getting onto this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like that Captain America effect where they gotta tell you what's going on before it happens. Now is that plus the other problem is they're huge and now they're trying to squeeze it for everything.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is where, you know, that's where the danger of like not like taking almost like a 5 or 6 year, however long it was between 4 and 5, you know.
That was
And again, with the writer's strike, SAG-AFTRA, like all that stuff going down had such a huge part to play in it because nobody was working at the time. And I'm sure if you can, depending on obviously the franchise, but the sooner that you can push things out, sometimes the better. The ideas are fresh. The ideas are unheard of. Some certain ideas aren't being copied, doubled down, or used in movies and things like that you're trying to, you know, put into play here. Whatever that may be. I'm not talking just specifically for Stranger Things, but like, you know, this season is again the lowest rated season out of all of them. And that's such a bummer because I felt like season 5 had the potential to be
yeah, but we're also
so much bigger.
we're also in an age where people are hating at an all-time high on
That
everything.
is a fact.
On
They really are.
everything, bro. Anything
really
that has
are. Like,
any type of popularity in the last decade, it's for absolutely zero reason at all. People will find something and completely use that as an excuse to shit on it. Like for instance, CGI, bro. Like people, I was like, I understand there is bad CGI, but I'm like, you could look at fucking like Galactus, for example, in Fantastic Four. I thought it was great. I thought it looked great. People were complaining. I'm like,
That's pretty cool.
it's a fictional character, and you're complaining that he doesn't look real.
Yeah.
He's a giant. His name is Galactus. I was like, okay,
And, like,
sorry, that's my rant. That's
One of the things,
No,
one
you're
of the
right,
things
though.
about CGI that I had said to Meg was when Holly had peeled that rock back, gone in, and her hair was dangling. I looked at Meg and I was like, "That's some nice fake hair." Like you could tell that her hair was a little CGI'd, but that was just like a small nitpick. Everything else,
the world
like-
she was in, like with the green screen.
Exactly,
and
you know what I
everything.
mean?
Like,
You could
tell it's
definitely
green screen, but
tell
I'm like-
the-
I was like, that shit don't really bother me because I'm like, yeah, it's a fictional place. It's not a real place.
But see, and that's the thing. That is where if you make the characters good enough, the background has no effect to how you view the scene. Yes, do I know like 99% of Star Wars is on a fucking blue green screen? Yes, 100%. But it's certain
They
scenes,
did a
certain
really good job to
acting.
make sure that you didn't know that.
Exactly. Like with the world building and things like that, you know?
I wouldn't have even thought about that till you just said it, to be honest.
And that's what I'm saying. If you can get the actors to lock in, the background means nothing unless they're interacting with it, which is where a lot of people I think have gripes with like how the MCU does a lot of CGI. Because, like, for example, in Spider-Man Homecoming, when he goes into that alley to switch his suit, he hits his button, his suit. That whole background, they shot it in an actual alley in New York, but then they fucking blue screened the back alley. What's the point of that? You know what I mean?
You gotta
You don't know because your character is right there in front of your fucking face, and that's
you
what
gotta be good at
that's
selling the lie, and sometimes they're just not that good at it.
But
Yeah,
I guess
agreed.
Los's point there is there's no point to lie. There's the,
That's what I'm saying. You know, if there's so much that you can do in this world, why blue screen it? Why green screen it? You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's not. I don't think that can make or break a show. Like, I don't think it's gonna break Stranger Things at any point.
No.
Like, them
Capitalism,
Demogorgons look real, bro.
all about the money, bro.
It's all about the Benjamin, baby.
I do think the finale, obviously, like, you know, apparently this has been a main topic though. I think a good chunk of people are gonna die, but again, I would, like you said, I want it to be like, oh shit, like, you know,
Yes.
like if Steve does
What-
die, how does it happen? Like, is it gonna be like sacrifice? I don't really care for that.
Really?
Okay.
Y'all don't fuck with sacrificial plays in that?
I mean, it depends on the situation. That's all.
I'm more
it
of
is.
a Captain America guy. We don't trade lives. What's the point?
Yeah, and no one's really been in a situation where they need to sacrifice themselves, bro. Like
I listed
that-
two earlier.
What?
That's you wanted that, but they did not have to.
No,
sacrifice.
Jonathan and Nancy and
They didn't-
Robin. Those
they
are
both-
two.
No, they both were fine on the table, bro. They didn't have to do anything. Like,
But I'm saying this is where like the scene alludes to the fact that someone is going to die or someone
No.
has to like make so for example, before I had even said anything, when they hopped on that table, Meg said, "Oh, we got like a little Jack and Rose scenario."
I thought that, but
And
the
so
thing
I'm like,
the thing
okay.
about it is the table was already stable on the ground. It's just,
But it was tilted. It was
It
tilted.
It was
Not at
very-
first though.
It was not tilted. It somehow, it shifted because of the wax in the room naturally, but it was stable on the bottom, so it wasn't gonna fall. Like I don't
I honestly thought they were gonna pull some shit like, "Get on the table, we'll write it down when the goop melts the floor." That was another one of my thoughts, but I was like, that's not realistic.
I
But
felt
it's
like
also
if they were
Stranger
gonna
Things.
die, it would have had to been both or none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I viewed it, because it wouldn't make sense for one to sacrifice themselves in this situation. The shit's filling up the room at the same level. So like, what you're gonna stand on top of one another and
If anything, he could have stayed
No,
behind
but-
and tried to get her out that way through the top.
But see,
It
that's what I'm
didn't really make
saying.
sense
If
to do
he's like on the ground and he's trying to boost her up, or if he hopped off the table, still tried to figure out how to get out of the room or whatnot,
It was
while
his
lightening the load
booster
or lightening the
up
weight
they would have still
through the,
both
like what
died.
Jalen was saying, like through the ceiling.
They would have both died in that scenario.
That's what I was thinking of. Either way, it still would have been.
They fell
Mhm.
into a place where the ceiling was basically a staircase, and it was high. as
Yeah.
fuck. So like, and the roof. was in. So like, they were just looking up. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Nobody's been in a position to make a sacrifice for real. Hopper
Or
just,
like,
Hopper just wanted to blow himself up at one point.
Yeah, he's just like that.
I was kind of waiting for like at the end, like that stereotypical trope where, they bust through the military base. They're all driving. They're getting lit the fuck up. And Hopper's like, "Is everyone good? Everyone okay?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, we're fine." I was waiting for "Yeah, we're good." Someone looks down, they're shot in their side, but they're keeping it hidden so that they can complete the mission. I was waiting for one of that,
I'm not
but
gonna
that
lie.
didn't even happen.
I'm not gonna lie. I expected that. I did expect that. I wasn't disappointed when it didn't happen, but I did. I was
Me either.
expecting-
I will say that.
I was expecting Hopper to be like, Steve walking around, and it's just something that slowly kills him over time. But
Like Curry was in the front fucking seat, and you saw bullets going through the windshield, flying and whizzing and zipping and zooming through that fucking truck, and you're telling me
it's
out of like 12 people in that fucking truck, no one got hit.
we need Tyrese Gibson from Fast and Furious in there from that
Oh,
one.
bro.
He's like, has anybody
Did
noticed that we can't die?
Did he say that in one of the Fast and Furious
Yes,
movies?
bro. He's
Yeah,
pointing,
called it out word for word,
he's
bro.
calling out the plot armor, bro. It's hilarious.
He's like, bro, just look, we could just go here. We're not gonna die. And they just get to shooting up all of these people. He like, bro, just literally
See?
casually escapes the military.
See, and that's, but again, you know, I would have been like, oh fuck, like, you know, that would have given me a sense of like, oh fuck, how are they gonna do this now? You know, because, but again, like I said, I don't feel like Vecna's going to win, and sometimes that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like,
He might.
I don't want anybody to die, but sometimes for the story to go forward and have meaning, it needs to happen.
And this is where I think
He might win. We just don't know, bro. He might.
this is where I think your gripes are actually weighing on me, because I'm gonna say this. I do feel, compared to last season and even how this season started off, this didn't have to be a season. They're wrapping up this Vecna shit. All of this should have been part of the last season. You didn't have to do this. Now the kid is way older, and now you got to explain a time gap for something that didn't need a time jump. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just they're dealing with so much, and now we got Holly as a main character because she's been in more episodes than all of them this season. Like,
Literally.
that's why people don't like it. I do think that it's still better than that Maul season.
No,
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like the
Okay,
Maul
that's
season.
so crazy. That was one of my favorite seasons. Season 3 was so good. Okay, I'll give you this. Other than like the main episodes of them trying to like get Billy free and like burning him out in the sauna and the final fight and shit like that, it was a filler season. You definitely have those when it comes to like, ain't nobody care about them little squabbles. Oh, I dump your ass. Oh, okay, like fine, go about it. You know, break up, do whatever the fuck you need to do. But like, show the struggles of trying to get her back and things like that. But it didn't really have that. So season 3 was a filler season, but I think where it gets me is that it's a nostalgic season.
No, it was fun.
And everybody
fun.
know me.
But like, if you look at it from like a video game standpoint, the Demi Dogs and the Demogorgon is like level 1. You see what I'm saying? I wanted a legit level 2, and I didn't feel like the villain of that season was legit. Like I was like, what are we doing? This is not even. You know what I mean?
And the stakes weren't there until the last the last episode of that season, where you realize that Elle no longer has her powers.
Yeah. So like,
but that still gives you a sense of like, oh fuck, how are they gonna go into season 4 with no powers? But
I mean, it didn't matter because there was no real villain at that point. That's what I'm saying. Until we met Vecna for real, that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is a.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, I'm starting to feel like Vecna is not a real villain now, even though he just murked all of the people at the military base with no problem, and somehow Mike and him just was able to hide.
Because what's going to piss me off is if they go into the abyss and 8 and 11 go into his mind and convince him that he's not the bad guy, and then he's like, you're right, I'm number 1. And then they fight the Mind Flayer together. I'm like, you're telling me that you spent up all this time for Vecna to mean what? Nothing? But so I don't feel like they'll do that. I'll feel like
you only got 2 hours though. You only got 2 hours, so you don't got time to establish the Mind Flayer and fight Vecna still.
But see, this is where I think they'll pull on. See, here's my other gripe, real quick. They are incorporating elements of the Stranger Things Broadway play into season 5 when the Broadway play wasn't shown anywhere other than fucking Broadway. So, for example, when in the last episode, when Holly and Max go down into the cave, they finally uncover like what is bugging Henry Creel out this whole time, and it's because he got shot in the fucking hand and had to kill some dude. But then he gets ready to open the case, and then we don't see it. So I think that's where the Mind Flayer, or maybe the particles of the Mind Flayer are. They inhabit Henry Creel. What they're going to try to do is they're going to try and burn that shit out of Henry, so that he's like, oh, I'm not an asshole anymore. And then he's gonna be like, I'll help you defeat the Mind Flayer.
I am with you. That does bother me that they're saying that a whole Broadway musical is canon, but the only way to go see it is go to Broadway.
They definitely been said it's canon though, so they don't want to rob the people who paid for it of this. So they gotta kind of keep true to their word.
And yes, but to the extent of
make it watchable for people who don't live in fucking New York.
Yes. Yes. Because like for certain something, like if I gotta bootleg it, fuck it, I'll bootleg. But like it's one of those things where it's I don't know. It's one of those things where like that's like you're putting this into season 5. What happened in that play was apparently so important that you're putting it in the final season, and we're not seeing any of it.
Right.
So they say
I would have been.
Oh, sorry.
I would have been okay with them touching on it. Like they don't have to like pretend like we supposed to just know it. I think they should act like most people haven't seen it. It could still be canon. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's what happens with like Star Wars, right? Like in the last trilogy, there were a certain amount of comics that came out that were supposed to explain the lore of these characters that the movies didn't. And you're like, okay, well, not everyone's going to do that. Not everyone's going to be like me and go out and buy all the Kylo Ren comics and read up on that so that I can understand why he's such an emotional asshole in these movies. If people don't do that, you cannot expect, and this is where Velez has, rubbed up on me a little bit, where he's right. Like you can't expect everybody to do that because it's not logical. You can't expect all of your fans to go and try to nitpick through every last thing to get to the main point. But I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. I think that, they're going to finish the memory of Henry Creel. He's going to open the case. Particles of the Mind Flayer are going to come out. They're going to inhabit him. Because I think at least since season 3, everyone is like, who's the real villain? Is it Vecna or the Mind Flayer? What came first, the Vecna or the Mind Flayer? Clearly that was answered in 4, and the Mind Flayer came first. But somehow Vecna was able to, turn these powers to use his powers to his benefit and control the Mind Flayer. I don't know about that.
I think the Mind Flayer is controlling him still.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we don't know yet, man.
Like a Venom situation.
Maybe.
See, and I was gonna say that. I was exactly going to say that because I wonder if they're going to be if Vecna's going to be like, no, I can't let go of the Mind Flayer and try to harness more power and then pull a Power Rangers move and get more powerful right at the very end. And then that's where the actual fight is.
Or maybe like a dark.
Probably it's going to take all 3 of them to beat him though, for sure.